Ottawa's hamburgling sensation has the Senators dazed and bemused, but does Andrew Hammond have what it takes to oust our Habs in a potential first-round matchup? As always, we invite you to join us on our social networks at facebook.com/RBTL Sports, as well as on Twitter @RBTL Sports, and now officially on YouTube. We welcome Anthony Cornelli. Great to see you.
Good to be back.
How you feeling?
Very good. Yourself?
Good, good. To your right is Michael Kingsbury. You're an Olympian, two-time mogul champ. You're an absolute beast on the slopes. Great to welcome you to the show. And I also hear you're quite the baseball fan.
Yeah, I like every sport, so it's great to be here.
Good thing to have you on. Thanks for taking the time. Appreciate it. To your right is David Hurley, RBTL contributor. Great to see you.
Glad to be back.
All right, so let's talk about the Ottawa Senators. The Boston Bruins, first and foremost. The disclaimer is that the Bruins are now making a push. But Ottawa has the potential of getting in as well. If the Canadiens face the Boston Bruins or the Ottawa Senators, are you afraid for them? Is there any chance they can upset and really scare some people?
I actually don't think the Canadiens have anything to be worried about. I mean, the Ottawa Senators would be the toughest matchup. I mean, we've had a hard time this season. We lost 3 games to them. Now, if we play the Boston Bruins, we're going to have an easy cakewalk. I think we have the confidence against them. We've played them. We beat them 4 times this season. I don't think they stand a chance against the Habs.
I think with Hammond on his role right now and where the Canadiens are having troubles to score leading up into the stretch, I think the Canadiens might have trouble against Ottawa. We got outscored 14-9 in our series against them, and I don't see the Canadiens taking on Ottawa and getting through that easy series. And even if they do in 6 or 7 going into the second round, it's going to be tough on us.
They beat them in the past too, right? Ottawa did beat Montreal, and that was sort
2
of
years ago.
shocker.
But you have to take into consideration that they have to play 5 out of the next 7 games against playoff contenders right now.
Yeah, but historically,
so Ottawa's going to be in a lot of deep trouble. They're in 9th place right now, and they're not going to be in a playoff seed.
But the Canadiens, when they play against teams who are either not playoff bound or have a losing record, we know the story. They don't play well against teams that are not well. How do you like the Montreal Canadiens being number 1 and facing off against the number? Is there a chance for them to be upset? Is there a chance here that they can lose against Ottawa?
I don't think about against Boston. I like if the series against Boston. I think it's good for the fans and on TV. It's good hockey. I'm more scared about the Ottawa Senators, and I know right now they're doing very well. So I don't know. I think they will do well. Like last year, we'll have a long stretch in the playoff, but
in order for
it depends on the goalie and.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say was, this year the main difference is they've got an incredible goaltender in nets, right? Now, we don't know if this is going to play out.
Hammond's a little hurt right now, and he's played great the last 15 games. Can you keep that going on for 30 games or 20 games?
They're definitely depleted. They're depleted
by injury.
But an 8th seed has nothing to lose. That's why the 1-8 matchups are so scary. You see it in basketball. You see it in the Western Conference. Los Angeles being the number 1 example of an 8th seed upsetting. Yeah. An Ottawa Senators 8th place team. Even the Boston Bruins, last time they were 8th, did they not upset the Canadiens?
Yeah, the last time the Canadiens won the conference, they got upset to Boston, I believe, in 5 games. And you got to take a look at the stretch, guys. In the month of March, Ottawa Senators are 10-5. They've made points in 10-5. They made points in 12 of the last 15 games. Hammond's 14-1-1. And I know he picked up a little bit of a knock, but going into the playoffs, he has goals against average under 2. The Canadiens are 8-7, and we all know if Carey Price goes down,
we're in deep trouble.
Our chances in the playoffs are going down the drain.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, that was really bad luck against New York. I mean, that was really a game shifter.
Yeah, but the year before, too, against Ottawa, he got hurt. So his playoff record the last couple of seasons has not been very lucky for the Canadiens. So hopefully he can stay healthy. Again, Ottawa I don't think is going to be the big problem. I think Boston might be, but I honestly think the Canadiens will finish second. The New York Rangers will probably win the East.
Is there any team in the Eastern Conference for you that scares you a little bit more than the bottom feeders? Anybody there that can really upset Rangers as well? And I don't get why the Rangers. I don't understand.
Their best
Rick Nash
defense.
is having a good season. Yes, Lundqvist is good, and McDonough.
Their top 6D is incredible.
But the Montreal Canadiens blow the Rangers out of the water if we had Carey Price last year. I mean,
I
it's
don't know
not
if we
even a
blow them out
contest.
of the water, but we definitely have a better matchup. We failed in the first game. Carey Price stayed in net.
So you could say that the Rangers were officially the best team in the Eastern Conference last year? I don't think so.
Oh, no, you can't say that. Last year was up for grabs.
I still don't think that they're the best team in the Eastern Conference.
I think they are the best team right now in the East.
I think if the Boston Bruins get through the Canadiens last year, they would have probably beat up on the Rangers.
You think?
That's something to be seen this season.
Something also to be seen is Montreal hosting an incredible baseball tournament coming out, baseball game. I want to hear your opinions when we come back from the break. We're talking Montreal baseball. Stay with us. All that and more happening right here on Read Between the Lines.
Read Between the Lines is brought to you by LavalCosm.com. It's ball hockey time.
It was an unforgettable love affair that somehow went sour. As they make a strong push, does Montreal have what it takes to win the Expos back? We welcome back Pierre Just, Michael Kingsbury, and David Hurley. There's a lot of hype in the city this weekend. There's going to be an incredible baseball event. People are going to be able to relive that good old Sunday afternoon with some peanuts and a great
nice
ball
cold
game.
beer.
There you go, nice cold beer. Are we closer now than ever to have a baseball team back in Montreal? We are the largest North American city population-wise.
We are.
In all of North America that doesn't have a baseball team. Is it time?
It is time, but realistically, it's like an ex-girlfriend. You only miss her when she's gone. I don't think the Montreal Expos will come back. The reason why is because we don't have the money for it. We don't have the downtown ballpark. You're not going to send another team to go play in that Olympic Stadium.
We
sent them to Puerto Rico to play 22
why not
games
change that
last
mentality?
time.
That was if we keep having the same mentality that we can't have nice fans.
Listen,
because
I know
we
that
don't
there are
have the
fans
money.
here that
to
want-
make money. You need to invest. So do we not have
Okay,
the
who's
companies
going to
that want to
invest then? That's the problem. There's no
have-
investors right now. And if you're going to take a baseball team, the only teams that I can see is getting are the Oakland A's
Rays.
and the Tampa Bay Rays. And the
Yeah.
Tampa Bay Rays, it'll cost $1 billion for them to get out of their stadium
not.
lease.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. Actually, at the moment, they kind of want to get out of their lease.
They do, but
their
they
mayor
have to
wants
pay.
to keep the team. But
they do have to pay for
city
the
don't wanna-
stadium deconstruction, which can cost up
The
to
city
$1
doesn't
billion.
want to pay for it.
Is the stadium the biggest issue that Montreal has to bring baseball back? Except for obviously financing is always going to be the biggest issue.
I think
but
so.
Is the stadium going to be the biggest issue here?
Well, I remember back in the days they were talking about building like that stadium downtown, and I think that would be the big difference. I don't think the Olympic Stadium is very attractive for
It's a
fans and
dump.
people.
It's a-
You're being very politically correct.
I'll say it for you. It's a dump.
Yeah, and I've been many times when I was young. I was the bad boy too for the Expos for a little while. So
Really?
that was
Michael Kingsbury has just made an official announcement on air that he was a bat boy for. Is that true?
yeah,
Really?
it's totally true. Yeah, when Guerrero, Orlando Cabrera, Vidro were playing, was my favorite player. I was
Vidro?
a big
Great
big
second
fan.
baseman.
Yeah,
Great second baseman.
I was a shortstop, so I was more Cabrera.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he was one with the Red
The bar,
Sox.
the bar set high. The bar set high. But you do believe that the stadium's the biggest issue.
Yeah, I think it's the biggest issue. And if we have like an outdoor or just a stadium that's brand new
With a retractable
and
roof of
yeah,
some
and,
sort.
yeah, and everybody like want to come back.
Listen.
Yeah, I think that would be the biggest.
It'll be
difference,
a major.
yeah.
It'll be a major
I
factor.
completely agree with you on that aspect. If we were to get a new baseball park, you were going to see it this weekend. I mean, last year we saw 96,000 people come for a weekend, which was incredible.
Doesn't that tell you
And if
something?
we
That-
can
that
get,
tells you
yeah,
something.
it tells you something.
It
Absolutely.
doesn't- no, it
but it's because
doesn't
it's a
really.
two-day
What
event.
does
Well,
it
because
tell you something?
attendance on a 3-game basis doesn't dictate.
But it
you
shows that
being
it's a
able-
2-game,
No,
yeah.
it shows
There's a
interest.
ground
There's
floor.
interest.
Absolutely.
There's people who love baseball here, but you cannot dictate. X amount of thousand people coming out to 3 games or 2 exhibition games or 2 regular season games to dictate that out. That 80 times a year you're going to be able to put 25,000 people. Not sure we can do it.
It's definitely a start. But if we keep thinking that we can't, and at the same time, teams that have a lesser population and not the same amount of funds that we can accumulate.
But there was
in
never
Quebec-
that disconnect. There was never
Yeah.
a disconnect
Yeah,
of
they
not
did- I
having
mean,
the team and having the
because
team.
I think we're still relatively bitter of the way it ended, so it kind of frowns
Well,
on
it
judgment.
especially sucks
of
when
the
you
way,
watch the Washington Nationals do so well
Yeah,
nowadays.
but
And look-
that's-
look-
this is then and now is now. Now I think there's definitely an opportunity. We have these companies. We have the Montreal Baseball Project, Warren Cromartie. They already have RBC behind them. They have Air Canada behind them.
Right.
So why not go forward?
They do. They
have-
need some
have
government
this-
help. They need some government help. They need
Absolutely.
close to $350 million to get another baseball team here. Realistically, do I think it's going to happen? No. Do I want it as a fan? Absolutely.
Wish it to happen.
It'd be great to have another major league sports team in this city. But you know,
I also think that there's quite the generational gap too.
There
here.
is.
I mean, we're also forgetting that guys like Michael didn't get to take advantage of that during
But
your
that's
teen years.
something that
and
he can build. There's teams-
you can.
there's
but
cities that have
but
that
you have to
professional
have
teams.
you have to have the followership. You have to have the loyalty.
And I think-
This
I
grows
think
into
Denis Coderre-
generational.
It wasn't in Washington. And look at the
listen, Denis Coderre has invested
their following.
close to $3.5 million this year to get baseball parks up and going.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
after
a-
they
that's-
took them down to
that's
make
a
soccer
step.
parks, so that's a positive step for baseball in this city.
Absolutely, I
but
agree.
we're yards away, or long yards away before getting another baseball team.
Gentlemen, stay right there. Our conversation continues right here on Read Between the Lines. Don't go anywhere.
Read Between the Lines is brought to you by EliteSportsTours.ca. What are you doing this weekend?
Will Kaká's arrival on the MLS scene signal another Beckham-style letdown, or will it make an impact beyond underwear ads this time? We welcome back Anthony Cornelli, Michael Kingsbury. You are an Olympian and a 2-time Moguls champion. So good to see you. Thanks for taking the time. and also David Hurley, RBTL contributor. All right, gentlemen, there's no doubt that him coming to the MLS is huge. It's big for MLS, it's big for soccer, it's big for North America. Is it going to be as big as David Beckham? Is it going to be as huge of a move considering where he is in his career? Do you think it's good for the MLS?
I think it's very good for the MLS. I mean, I've been watching more of football in Europe, and I know he's a pretty big name worldwide. And I think it's good when you have a big star like that who comes to the MLS, and maybe for the future bring out more players like Beckham did. And I think it's just good for the MLS.
But will he have? Will he
agree.
have the legacy that Beckham has had in terms of the impact that Beckham made?
Listen,
versus
Beckham's
coming?
impact was different. You're talking.
It opened the door.
Yes, you're talking a Ballon d'Or winner in Kaká, the only guy to beat Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo in Ballon d'Or winning in a single year.
Yeah.
Now, David Beckham came in with star power. Now, his star power was maybe because of his wife, Posh Spice, but he was more of a figure. Now, Kaká is a better footballer. Kaká, you saw it this weekend when he played against the Montreal Impact. He turned it on for 2 minutes and they scored 2 goals when the Impact had a 2-0
And that's what you
lead.
want from a designated player.
Absolutely.
To be able to change the game,
Absolutely.
right?
Well, besides a lot of delusional Brits who think David Beckham is top 10 greatest footballers of all time, minus his dead ball specialty and his hair, David Beckham was just a cash cow for any team he really played for. He had great years at Man U, came out with the treble, but at the international stage, he can't even tie Kaká's shoes.
Yeah, but hold on.
Oh,
But regardless of what his record was on international level, from an MLS standpoint, he's brought a huge plateau to MLS soccer. He was the reason why players from Europe, as you mentioned before, are actually considering the MLS.
If there was no
let alone-
David Beckham coming here to the MLS, we don't even have this discussion about
That's
Ricardo
correct.
Kaká.
Yeah.
Kaká would never come here to the MLS.
We're talking about Kaká as a Ballon d'Or winner coming to MLS.
Yes.
We'll not forget in the early years of the MLS, Stoichkov, a Ballon d'Or winner, Roberto Donadoni, Champions League winners with Milan, a lot of big names players. Valderrama, Colombian international, came to the MLS before. Yes, it didn't have the same stage.
At what age
now.
did they come? Did they come at 32, where he still
Absolutely.
has good
Exactly.
years in front of him? That's why, and Kaká says that he came to the MLS to give himself an opportunity to get back on the national team. Now that might be a little bit high hopes. I don't think he'll be able to come back, not at the way that their mids are coming up in their country. But he's definitely going to help grow the league here. You see it in Orlando. Their home opener, there's 60,000 fans
Yeah, and even the
in
teams
Orlando.
are
That's
low.
incredible for an MLS.
I respect what Kaká is doing, even though he watched his Brazilian side from the stands in 2014. He's a Brazilian that didn't just go into Europe, win the Ballon d'Or, make millions of dollars like Rivaldo, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, and go back to their countries and get fat.
No.
He's actually still in shape. I don't think he might have an outside chance at making the next World Cup. I don't think so. But will he get capped again for Brazil? Maybe. I'm not sure.
I'm curious to know, because you watch a lot of European football, do you have any issue with bringing some of those superstars to the MLS, considering the fact that the talent level in MLS is much lower? Do you have any problem with that? Or do you still want to see your favorite stars or the best players in Europe come to the MLS? Do you think there could be a good advantage?
I think if I compare example to hockey, like American hockey, like NHL, it's kind of like football in Europe. And hockey in Europe, it's like the MLS. So it's like when Eli Kovalchuk went to Russia, and I don't know. I think it's good. It's good for us. It's good. I would like to see the league get better player and get higher and play.
So we can watch good football.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And I think one of the keys to that success too is a lot of these players are coming. So we've hit that first wave, which was Beckham turning the eyes. MLS is growing. We're seeing the fans there, etc. Then there was a second wave of guys coming in their early 30s. Yeah. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys can jump in, the next level would be to get a player in his prime.
Absolutely.
Well, they're talking Jovinko.
Jovinko, exactly, from Juventus.
He's coming at 28 years old.
And he's playing, and you got Jose Altidore, who's an American striker. Yes, he had his troubles in the Premier League, but he's doing well now so far over here. Clint Dempsey left the Premiership to come down here. You're getting younger players in the MLS, which is only going to help the league grow. Now, unfortunately, is it ever going to compete with the majors, La Liga, Liga, EPL, Serie A? It never really to that level. But if the guys keep coming a little bit younger and younger, listen, MLS is in their 20th year. I say in 10 years, we'll get guys in the late 20s instead of the early 30s.
Gentlemen, stay right there. I love the energy you guys are bringing. A lot more is coming up right here on Read Between the Lines. Don't go anywhere.
Read Between the Lines is brought to you by Diadora. Available at diadora.com.
Pierre Hood tells no lies. That's his reputation, at least. But is he right that the NHL will welcome Las Vegas and Quebec City into the fold? We've swapped in this man right here, Pierre Jess, RBTL contributor. Great to see you.
To be here.
To your right, Mikael Kingsbury, Olympian, two-time global champ. Great to see you. Thanks for coming back.
Thank you.
And to your right, David Hurley, RBTL contributor. There is a reason why there's no hockey teams in Las Vegas. Some will argue the gambling, some will argue variety of points, but there was one thing that people will not argue, especially if you're Canadian, especially if you're Quebecois, is Quebec City deserves a team. Have we finally arrived to the point where we will see hockey back in Quebec City now that we have the Colisée, now that there's backing, now that there's public support? Do you think it's a pretender or contender?
For me, it's definitely a contender. When you hear all the rumors going on right now, there's definitely a groundswell for it, especially in Vegas, especially in Quebec City. We're already aware of that, and I think today's it's the right time. You take a look at a company like Bell. Now that they've lost on hockey for probably the next 10, 12 years.
10, 12
it's
years,
definitely a venture that I see themselves going into, whether it's Bell, whether it's Videotron, whether it's
I
some of
think
these big entities.
Yeah, it'll be tough for Bell to get it because Quebecois owns the rights to the arena. But you're absolutely right, Pierre. There are contenders to get. There's definitely a contender to get an NHL franchise in Quebec. Vegas, I still have my doubts about it, but they did spend $350 million on an arena, which will be in the top 10 most spent for
20,000 seat arena.
Exactly, 20,000 seat arena. Now the arena in Quebec will be ready in September. We're going to see the Quebec Ramparts play in it. So I think, and like Pierre Hood said in his statement, that the NHL will return to Quebec in 2016. I think that's a very big possibility. They're going to work out the kinks with the Ramparts this season, and then that arena is ready. There'll be NHL in Quebec.
TVA Sports wouldn't have been launched if they didn't already know
that
they would get the rights to it. Exactly. They knew something. Because you don't launch.
When there's smoke, there's fire, absolutely.
You don't launch a network without knowing that. I'm curious to think in terms of what it would mean for hockey or the rivalry in Quebec. Obviously, having a team in Quebec City would be great. Do you really think pretender or contender?
Contender. I would be very happy. That would be a very great rivalry. Montreal, Quebec. Like I was too young back in the days when they were competing against each other, but yeah, that would be very exciting to watch. But I'm just wondering which team is gonna replace.
Which teams will relocate?
Yeah.
I think Arizona's definitely a contender.
I think Arizona's a contender for either Vegas or Quebec.
Arizona, that's correct. Arizona could go both ways.
Yeah,
they can go both ways.
And Florida Panthers too. And what's going to be good about those two franchises is they do have some nice young pieces in their nucleus. So when they come to their new cities, it's not going to be such a rebuild. It's not going to be an expansion franchise, because when you get an expansion franchise, it takes 10 years before that team is any good. And Quebec can't afford that, because in a smaller market like Quebec, now Winnipeg, we saw how it worked out there.
But it also depends on ownership. It also depends on ownership. That's how aggressive you are.
If you have a steady owner and you have the proper fans that support the team, they can actually do it.
With TV revenue right now,
unlike you, I think there's definitely a chance for Vegas. I think that actually a little bit ahead of Quebec, because they already have the financial backing.
How many season tickets did they pre-sell already?
Like 10,000 already.
Already, yeah.
So
and imagine the comps, right?
Yeah,
imagine the comps.
absolutely.
Imagine the gambling. The guys who are coming in for the weekend, they want to gamble a little bit. The casino says, "Hey, we'll throw you a pair of tickets. This casino owns this row." I mean, there could be so many possibilities.
He'll be a headliner at MGM, and they'll throw him a couple of comp tickets. We'll fly us down when it's time.
Exactly. No, I think there's a lot of potential for Las Vegas. I think there's a lot of potential for Quebec City. I'm just curious to know why there's been so much hesitation with regards to a market like Quebec City. Why is Bettman holding back on a market that is so positive with regards to how we want to go?
Personally, I think it's
inevitable now.
It's inevitable, but it's the Arizona situation. They don't know to which market they want to give the team to.
I think it's one of the major reasons why they're tanking this season, because there's no one in those stands. And like in Florida, there's not a fan in the stands. Unless the Montreal Snowbirds are in town. Yeah.
It's very embarrassing, and they have to do something about it. They can't go into another season like this next year with all this uncertainty. And they have two markets that are ready, prepared to have stadiums already.
Do you like the possibility of maybe expansion? Maybe not relocation. Yeah. Do you like the fact of maybe expansion? Do you like that? Because the more you expand, the more you dilute the talent, the more XYZ happens in terms of all these different things that can happen when you look at the difference between taking talent that's already there, establishing them in a market. Do you like the idea of maybe expansion?
Yeah, but I think if they do an expansion, it's more likely to be Las Vegas, because in the West division there's less team. I don't know.
There's much less team in the standings.
So I think if they move a team, I think Quebec City are more prepared, and for me, and personally, and I think it would be better. But I think if they want to recreate a team and I think Vegas, I think Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas
gonna
would,
have it.
in terms of expansion,
That's-
would probably make more sense. Absolutely.
As far as the team is concerned, if I was to send one team to the Olympics, I'd want Jean-Luc Brassard, I want you, and I want Alex Bilodeau on my team. Great to thank for taking the time to coming on the show. I know you've got a lot going on. Where can people catch you and some of the stuff that you're involved with?
Well, right now I'm in vacation. The season's just over. I just won the world title again.
Congratulations
So,
on that.
yeah, thanks. And yeah, that's pretty crazy. So training starting again. I want to stay at the top and arrive to the 2018 Olympic at my best. And I won silver at the last Olympics, so for sure I'm gonna shoot for the gold one.
Gold's waiting for you.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean a lot of exciting stuff, a lot of traveling. But yeah, I'm just excited to go somewhere out and relax for the next couple of weeks.
As far as I'm
Deserve it.
concerned, you're the RBTL Golden Boy. Thanks for taking the time for doing our show.
Thanks.
Stay with us. My rant is up next. It's a good one.
Read Between the Lines is brought to you by enconfiance.ca. Find your dream home. Read Between the Lines is brought to you by tilmar.ca. Innovative designs in the ceramic industry.
That perfect girl that you let slip away from you, but you were too naive to know just how good you had it. Well, if you read between the lines, you'll see that Montreal's one that got away is our beloved Expos, and the timing to mend fences is now. What's needed is an impassionate plea to win her back. If I had the chance to talk to her again, here's what I would say. Wow, it's already been 11 long years and you look fantastic. We did have some great times together, didn't we? We were coasting at a playoff berth, things were going so well with us, we even had a city on the brink of delirium. That was, of course, until the strike. And then with all the momentum in the world, it was gone. What happened to that magic? What happened to us? For a while, I was down and out without hope. That was until Warren Cromartie, head of the Montreal Baseball Project, talked some sense into me. In hindsight, I'll admit that the Big O was no place for us to settle down and start a family. Heck, it's not even a place for raccoons to start a family. And believe me, it was a billion-dollar mistake I wish we could take back. However, this time, things will be different. We have a passionate new mayor willing to help us get that downtown stadium we always talked about. And just look at our friends, what they've done since we broke up. Remember our old neighbors, the Saputos? They rekindled the flame with the Montreal Impact. And how about those Alouettes? That could be us. How could we be the largest North American city without a baseball team? Come back, Expos, and we'll treat you right this time. As always, we ask you to read between the lines. Until next week, thanks for being with us.
Catering services courtesy of piattorustico.com. Authentic Italian cuisine. Adam Reid's wardrobe provided by Carve. Visit them online at carve.ca. Salon services powered by Glam Atelier, La Maison de Beauté. Hotel accommodations provided by Hotel 01, located in the heart of the cultural show and entertainment district. Transportation services powered by Ambiance Limousines, Montreal's premier limousine company. Arbonne Essentials supplied by Randy Belfer, available at randybelfer.arbonne.ca.